Are we live? Oh, are you making tea? Hello, everybody. I'm just getting essential supplies. Donna, are you making tea? Maybe a cup of tea will appear. We don't know. There we are. That's all right. Nobody's watching, so no one saw me call for a cup of tea then. There we are. Apparently, we're live. Let's just check that. First thing I need to do is to get the invite button, copy to clipboard. For anybody who's interested, I am on the StreamYard link, broadcasting via StreamYard to both Facebook and YouTube. To ask a question or offer advice, please. I can't spell. Please click Control V. Now, what I need to spelled it all wrong. Spelled it all wrong. There we are. That just reminded me then, I've corrected the spell. That just reminded me then that a few days ago I was having a chat with people about finding the courage to get your business onto the internet, finding the courage to start your social network, finding the courage to find your audience, finding the courage to write your book, finding the courage to first do a PDF. And it is better to be published than be perfect. It's better to be published than be perfect. And I was just reminded there because I was making loads of mistakes. Rebecca, hello. Charlotte, hello. Thank you for joining us. We've got 17 people. Give us a little wave or some thumbs up or something just to let us know that we're grooving. So sorry I'm late. We're 9 minutes past 11. Three reasons for being late. I had to go and get my elderly neighbours shopping, which made me a bit late for flying Popple Guy. Popple Guy was in a particular mood not to come back because the gardener comes on a Friday, and so he was working over there. Popple Guy wanted to see what was going on, didn't want to come back, so that made me a little bit later. And then last but not least, I had to very carefully and casually, just so that it's not really noticeable, but nonetheless you can't help but see it. I'd put this bird of paradise plant in the background, so that So I'm not going to mention it. I'm not American. I'm not going to go, oh, look at that bird of paradise plant. It's so gorgeous. So I just quietly put it there, and just between you and me, look at it. Brilliant. They're really hard to make flower. Zana's just filming. It's not my plant, of course, it's all Zana, who basically arranges all this garden. There we are. My tea's arrived, which is lovely. My little power cup. There we are. But yes, they take 6 or 7 years to flower, and you've got to be very careful. This one gets lifted in and out the house all the time, and then, of course, you've got to be careful not to knock it on the door. Yes, I'm rather pleased to have it in the background there. I hope you like it. Can you see it? I can't show you any closer, otherwise I'll be accused of being ostentatious. Don't want to be ostentatious. Morning, Claire. Thank you for your joining on the show yesterday. That was really good. I watched it back. It's very good. We've got a nice thing going on. Marvelous. Hello, Jenny. Hello, Carrie. Hello, Rachel. Hello, Kathy. Hello, Marie. Marvelous. So I spoke yesterday about our cockerel, Scratch. That's not him. That's that new one. Scratch is in a box just over there, and he had wry neck, which means that his head goes down right underneath him and he just looks up all the time, and he was looking very bad, and I've never seen it before, and we kind of thought he's been fighting with the other cockerels, and we think he's probably damaged something, and he was getting worse and worse, and I was thinking maybe it's his last maybe it's his last morning yesterday, and thought, even went to the point of sharpening my axe. And before I went any further, the axe needed sharpening anyway. Before I went any further, I thought I'll just check on the internet, see if there's anything. And apparently it's quite common, caused by vitamin E deficiency. And an injury to the head. So what we think's happened is he's fought with the other cockerels. There's one there. Maybe we could catch it. This one is the one I think he's fought with. That one there, Chucky the evil. Yes, you. I think he's fought with Chucky. I think Chucky's. In fact, Chucky nearly killed him a couple of years ago. In fact, did to all intents and purposes kill him. He was unconscious and had to be drip fed with a pipette, drip fed water, and miraculously he came to. He's always been a bit brain damaged and blind in one eye since, and he has to turn 3 lefts in order to do a right. And I think that's happened again. Basically, he's had an injury to the head. He's got wry neck. I nearly killed him yesterday, and but actually decided that we're going to feed him loads of vegetables. He's a bit better this morning. So, because we were looking up chickens a lot, I find out that here is an interesting fact. Chickens are the most closely related animal to Tyrannosaurus Rex. There you go. That's a fact. Scientifically proved. And we know it's a fact because it fits in with what I want to believe. Therefore, it's a fact. Of course, there's lots of other facts, and if they don't fit in with what I believe, then I'm not going to listen to those facts. Which brings me rather neatly onto a constant subject that I like to persist with, in that when people give out facts, like it is the most dangerous hobby that you can do, then if you wait long enough, and if you go on enough Google searches, and if you make the effort, then you will find a study to support that fact. If you want to think that you can eat sunlight, you can find a study to support that fact. If you want to prove that eating lots of red meat is good for you because you like eating lots of red meat, you can find a study to support that fact. If you're vegan and you're instilling the virtues of veganism, then you can find a study that will support that fact. Especially now that we've got the internet, if you wait long enough, you will always find a study to support your presuppositions and beliefs. If a study comes along that you weren't expecting, left of field, let's say a study that says horses can smell adrenaline, then you will latch onto that fact and tell everybody else about it. And then before you know it, people are absolving themselves of the responsibility of training their horses because there's nothing they can do. It's a scientific fact that circumstances beyond my control are why I'm not riding my horse. I'm going to put the link in. There we go. Let's just find that again. If anybody would like to join the social distance social course, lovely. We're getting chicken stories now, which is absolutely perfect. I don't want to just stick with horses. I want to do internet in your business. I want to do lockdown. I want to do mental strategies for life, and I want to do chickens. So that's good. They do think they're T-Rex. Yours is called Demon. Marvelous. Yes, we only got Chucky and Scratch, and then we ran out of names. And why is it that so many clutches of eggs turn out to have more than half cockerels? And of course, I'm a big softie. I can't just kill a cockerel, and you can't give them away. If you do give them away, then you've got to be very careful that people aren't using them for fighting. So it's all a minefield. Excuse me. Okay, so let me just put I have done. I've put it in. To ask a question or offer advice, click the link. That'll bring you up on my screen, and then we can have a little chat about this, that, or the other, which is absolutely marvelous. I'm unable to respond to written questions. If you write a question in the comments, or if you send a question to my Facebook page, obviously me sitting here on video making a video based show about me reading a comment, plus I read very slowly and I've not got my glasses, so the whole thing would be, which doesn't make for the most exciting program. So please Join the show. It's very painless. All you do is click this link that I'm going to put here and you say hello. And there we are. And then we have a little chat. There we are. Oh, that link's turned up there, which is marvelous. So I'm skirting round a subject that I have no authority in whatsoever. Now, I do pride myself in being a trainer who says quite readily, I don't know. I get sick to death of people coming out of their lane, out of what they know. Now, I do know rider confidence, and I do know the way people's minds works. I do know that. It's from 10 years of doing the rider confidence course. We've had 3,000 people through. Each one of them has had 10 or 20 conversations with me through the day about how their mind works. You don't have to be a genius to do that sheer volume of conversations and recognize certain patterns that are flowing through the leisure riding community. The same cliched terms come out to the point where it's the same sentence said by someone who's just come down from Warwickshire, said by somebody who's come in from Guernsey, and somebody who's come in from Wales, and somebody who's come in from... So the same cliches are going around. So it's not hard to spot these patterns. So I am very knowledgeable and very comfortable in talking about rider confidence. When it comes to something I don't know, I do like to say I don't know. If I know a bit, I'll say I know a bit. For example, interneting your business. Here am I, a horse riding instructor. You might be a therapist of some kind. You might have clients. You might think there is no way that I've even got a business that can go on the internet. Yet here we are in lockdown. You may have a job that is in jeopardy, and you're like, but it's not an internet, is it? So how can I do that? I can help there a little bit. And so I'll say, well, I can help a little bit. I only know my story. I know what worked, what didn't work, the traps that I fell into, the money I lost, the money I gained, and I'll help you there. But I know a little bit. I won't be an expert. But there you go. So I want to talk about a little conversation that has turned up maybe 6 or 7 times in the last year, having in different places, having not turned up in the 10 or 11 years before that. This is that women of a certain age have a drop in confidence that is related to all your internal organs doing different things. We're talking about the menopause, and the amount that I've heard people say only in the last year that there is a study to show that women of a certain age lose their confidence. Now, to me, given that obviously I know nothing about it, I am of quite a certain age, but I'm certainly not a lady. To me, this seems to be one of those studies that may or may not be true. It's a fact. If you believe that kind of thing, it's a fact that chickens are nearly T-Rexes because I want to believe it. It's a fact that horse riding is the most dangerous sport if you look on the correct thing. And it may or may not be a fact that women of a certain age lose their confidence due to hormonal changes. However, to me, it just seems to have the same ring to it as there's nothing you can do. Horses can smell your adrenaline. Therefore, I am absolved of having to deal with this. Now, there's nothing you can do. Your hormone levels and types of hormones have changed. You're now absolved of it. So what are we hoping to bring to the conversation? Is it helpful or powerful to make sure that everybody knows, who may not have heard this study, everybody knows that it's not your fault, and it may not be your fault that you have lost your confidence in horses, whether that's due to your hormones or the adrenaline's a hormone as well. Actually, it's just something that you can't control. Is it helpful? Well, no, it's not. It may not be your fault. In fact, the fact that you haven't got confidence on your horse isn't your fault. I know it's the fault of the leisure riding community around you painting a picture that it's much more dangerous. And by that, I also mean the magazines and the Facebook pages and everything else. But irrelevant of whose fault it is, it may not be your fault. I know for a fact it's the people around you. It's another one of them facts. But someone else might know for a fact it's due to hormonal changes, and somebody else might know for a fact it's due to animal sensitivity. But it doesn't really matter. We'll accept it's not your fault. But it is your responsibility to do something about it. The things that have happened in your life that have caused you to be one way or another are not your fault. Your parents and the parenting that you had and going back the parenting that they had all comes down. It's not your fault that you feel insecure about this and that or the other. It's not your fault that these things happened to you when you were a kid or when you first started to learn riding or when you first did A, B, or C. It's not your fault, but it is your responsibility. So we need to stop latching on to these studies that says, well, I'm absolved of responsibility now. I couldn't possibly do that because what do you want? Do you just want an argument for me to point out Tina Turner and the Queen and Margaret Thatcher were all women of a certain age and they certainly didn't suffer confidence? It doesn't matter. The point is, do you want to be where you are, whatever fault that is, moving forwards? And it's the same solution, the same thing that I say all the time. Here you are, problems and all. There you want to be, which is one task. Where do I want to be? What's my goal? What's the thing that I'd dare to allow myself to want to do if I wasn't so caught up in this negative nervousness? And to get to that goal, to get to that mountaintop, don't look at the mountaintop. That's your destination. That's your emotion. On the practical side, look at the next step, look at the next step, look at the next step, look at the next step. Knowing why you have a problem is the booby prize. Understanding is the booby prize. When I take the car to the garage, I don't want to understand. Well, it's interesting. It might be a bit of a light bulb moment. Oh, I see. It is interesting and can be part of the resolution and the sense of closure. And maybe it's a relief to think, oh, that's why the car wasn't working. But ultimately, I would rather say it's always really annoyed me. I've never known why that happened, but I did get out of the problem. The car did get fixed. I did get to my destination, and I don't know why I was in a mess in the first place. Is a much better alternative to, well, I haven't got to where I'm going, but I do know why. Anyway, there we go. So that's my little gabbling about facts. So I see. There's a load of chat going on about the confidence, which I'm not going to join in with for obvious reasons. And I have been joined by Kat, which I'm going to get to. If anybody would like to, let me just put the link in again. Join the conversation after I spoke with Kat. I'm just going to put that. Join the show. It'll be absolutely marvelous. Kat's going to tell you how easy it is. Check that. Are you there? I see your microphone is turned off and it's all gone a bit black. So we'll assume that Kat's having problems. Well, that didn't go very well. So if you're thinking of doing an internet broadcast and worried that it doesn't go well, sometimes it doesn't. However, here comes our superstar from Portugal. Kat, while you sort out your video and audio. Right. we're going to talk to Annabella about studio lighting.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Oh,
Are you still sat in a dark room with no lights on?
I don't know why, really, Carl.
Right.
See, better, but not see me now.
Right then.
Okay.
Next time you're going to have to arrange some lighting and not be this ghostly shadow. We'll let you get away with it this time. This time's okay. But the fact is, you're a little bit of a celebrity on this broadcast, and people obviously want to hear what you've got to say, and I'm sure they'd like to see you as well. So we're going to talk studio lighting and get it fixed by tomorrow. So, how are you?
I'm okay.
Lovely.
I'm okay. I'm working hard because I have to get money to pay for my horse and everything else around my horse. So I don't mind working hard. Sometimes it's very difficult.
What do you do for work?
I'm working with informatics, computers, and what is basically on the computer mailings, getting in touch with clients, and offer assistance.
Is this your business or a job?
It's my business. It's my.
Okay.
I created this because I was a translator before,
Yep.
Portuguese, French, English, German, and then people said I was too old to translate, and so I study quickly something else that could give me some money, because
Yep.
I refused to get stuck. I always refuse to get stuck. I have to move on, no matter what. And
So, do you have a question or some advice today? What's going on?
I heard you about menopause and what we can imagine in our heads about it. Of course, our body changes, but it's our mind that commands it. So don't believe you can never do a thing you want because you are told. You never hold. Your mind is telling you, if you really want it, as you say, if you just imagine you are going to earn a lot of money, and if you really want it, you let your mind get through all the difficulties. You have no money, you'll get the way to earn money. You're feeling down, don't feel down. Smile. Your inner strength gets over anything you want. Your mind is so powerful. And horses, they don't smell anything. They feel your vibrations, and your vibrations come from your brain and then go through your body. My experience after being with you, it's so powerful that I tell you, people, just let yourself try it. Let your energy go through you and try it. Don't believe anything. Just feel it and go ahead. That's what I have to tell you, because it really works. I began riding not even a month ago, and I only can ride twice a week for now, because I want to ride every day. But for now, the possibility is twice a day. Okay. And one of these times, what I felt was so powerful with my horse. The horse changed the moment I changed. And
Yes.
we were one. Yesterday I couldn't get some sensations. It's okay. It was me who was a little bit nervous because of the morning I had, stressful, and I tried to wash my head before I got up, or before I mounted. But even so, the worst sensitive, there was something, and it's okay. I learned that I before I go on my horse, to release. Really, really. There's nothing else but my.
Annabella, how many people like you do you think there is in Portugal?
Well, I really don't know, Carl. Really, I don't know
I
because
do. There's loads. There's loads of ladies with families like yours, with horses, and you. Tell me about your martial arts.
yes. What about them? They
Yeah,
get
tell me the history of your martial arts.
okay. I was a problematic kid because I had no mother and no father and only a grandmother that could um, raise me all the time. So I went in a school with nuns, and I um, was not calm. I was always um, kidding with others, and so someone told somebody, I don't know exactly who, that I should go to a sport that really burned my all my energy. And that's how I went to judo first. And the first time, I remember the first time I got here as a kid, I wanted to punch everybody and kick everybody. And the master said to me, "Okay, so you want to punch and kick? Come here. You're gonna learn how to get what you want to give others." And so he didn't punch me and kick me, of course, but he taught me how to fall properly. And I spent 1 hour and a half falling, 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 falling. I never forget this lesson. And so from there, I got calmer and calmer, and I felt better as a kid. And then growing up, I went to karate because I wanted to try everything. A little bit of a Portuguese way of fighting in the north, which is jogo do pau, is very similar to Japanese kendo. And I did it, and then with knives and self-defense, all that. And I made myself, I constructed my head, okay, I have a way to go, and I have a way to feel good with myself. And so I went. I had the opportunity then to go abroad, to go. I was there in Crystal Palace in '78 with Japanese there, and my mind was spread with many ways of thinking, many ways of being in life, and I learned how to respect everybody.
And did you do competitions?
Yes, I did competitions. As a matter of fact, I've won a championship, but that was not the branch I liked better because I like to compete with myself.
What was it this kendo style that you won a
No, it was
championship
not.
in?
It was Shotokan
Shotokan.
karate.
Hmm.
Okay.
And would you say that to continue martial arts would have been a good idea?
I never left them, as a matter of fact, because the
Hmm.
way of being in life is the way of being in life. I don't know how to translate. Japanese say, though, the way you are in life and the way I don't know how to say it's a way to be yourself in a good way and help others with a good way, help learn with other problems as being your own. And so you're in your mind. You never give up being a martial artist in your mind, even if you spend your time writing, because that's my challenge now.
Would you say that it would be advisable for people as they get older to just maintain a level of, maybe um, maybe the shotokan's quite sharp on the joints, or can be if you do it wrong, but there's other martial arts that are a lot more flowing. Would you recommend keeping up with those kind of sports as you go into being a grandmother and such like?
Absolutely. You can do it till you die, because dying is a part of life. And the way you see you're getting older, it's a natural process. You cannot go against it. You can make it better and pleasant and joyful, because in every step of your life, there's only something worth living, and you can give the example to others.
So, are you aware of how much value you have got for other people in what you're saying here about your horses, your mindset, your martial arts, carrying on your fitness? Are you aware of how much you've got to offer for other people doing things exactly like we're doing now?
I don't think so. Because this whole technology process and how we can reach so many people, I'm not quite used to it. It's
But yes, my point is that when you've got people who are maybe getting old, because I don't know about you, but to me, 1990 was about 3 weeks ago. So I haven't changed. But of course, there's plenty of people who have found themselves grandmothers, grandfathers, being expected to fall into a role which is simply not who they are. And then, of course, you get it into the whole thing that I'm getting older, and so on and so on. And I think somebody like you, the way that you're talking, would have the most incredible, beneficial contact and connect, just like you're doing now. You're speaking to me, there's people watching you, and we always get nice comments from what you're saying with your horse riding and your martial arts, your life experience, setting up your own business, your life experience becoming a grandma, living in Portugal, the things you can do. I think that you've got a huge audience,
well,
and I think you've got a lot of value that you could bring to people.
I'm glad I can help someone. That I do all the time. If I see someone down, well, I'm a kind of alone in the meaning in my age, because I'm the only person riding at my yard with this age. But I am so happy with all the younger people.
I know that there are 3 million leisure riders around the world in the English speaking world, because obviously this is what I talk about. However many millions more ladies of a similar age to you who used to do something, used to do martial arts, used to do dancing, used to do ballet, used to do a sport, who have now found themselves caught in this whole grandma thing and being expected to go downhill from what they used to be, that feels like only 3 weeks ago. So when you say I am the only one, you are one of millions who would like to listen to what you say. And I'd just like you to consider that all I'm doing is just talking about what I've found. And I think you've got an enormous potential to help lots and lots of people.
Well,
because of your character, your history, who you are, and what you do.
yeah, we all must be prepared to fight within to go where you want. And that's what I say. You have to be laser focused on what you want. because you have many, many, many people against you. And if you listen to them, you are not going anywhere. So you have to laser focus on what you want. You don't, I don't know how to say in English, you don't have to actually fight, you only have to keep in your way. And if someone gets in front of you and say you're not going over this, you say, oh yes I am.
Lovely.
Oh yes I am. Okay.
Well, thank you very much. It's been marvelous talking to you again. And people in the comments, please just give a bit of love to Annabella, and just tell me that I'm right, that we need to see Annabella doing her own productions, whether that's books or help or Facebook or something. There is a load of people that you can help with your story. I just know it. I know it.
I keep on translating your book.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, but this slowly, but I'll get there. Okay, and I want to say to all English people with my age or even older, you're not old. You're not old. Your age is a number only. You are what you think.
Beautiful. Thank you very much, Annabella. Obrigado. And we'll see you again.
See you again.
See you again. Marvelous. Brilliant. She's just so super with such a super history. And I know that she's got so much information to help people in fitness and sport and mental attitude and as well as horses. She sent me some photos on the horses, and that's brilliant. Age isn't a number, it's a word. Anyway, being facetious, never mind. I might be getting a bit of stick here. I think I've been misunderstood and maybe not explained myself very well. I'm assuming that this is to me. To say it doesn't affect confidence is not true and not fair on the millions of women who have issues, most of which don't even own horses. I'm assuming that's based at me, but maybe I'm being negative. Maybe someone put a comment earlier. My point is that whether or not it's true that hormonal changes in women of a certain age cause confidence loss, or whether it's true that horses can smell adrenaline and therefore you have no control of it, there is a tendency for people to latch on to that. There you are, it's not my fault, and therefore pass on the assumption that there's nothing you can do. It's almost like saying it's circumstances beyond my control. When, if whether it's true or not, a loss of confidence, understanding why you've had a loss of confidence is really not essential to being aware that the next step needs to be taken. So the next step might be bring the mounting block in, stand the horse there, get on the mounting block, get on the horse, get off the horse, and we'll build that up to 10 seconds, and we'll build that up to walk in a circle until, just take a walk in a circle and dismount. Whatever your bite-sized step is, it may be to lay jumps on the ground and walk over them to get into that feeling of going over the jumps. The point is that we need to get to the solution, and bringing up studies which may or may not be true, may be right for some people. It's just, I've seen it with the whole horses can smell adrenaline thing, and people not getting on their horses because of this study, which may or may not be true. So let's just assume it is true if I'm going to get in trouble. Yeah, all right, it's true. What are we going to do about it? It's not your fault, but it is your responsibility to move forward, do the things that you want to do, make that time, and not spend your time going, it's circumstances beyond my control. There you are. There you are. Maybe I've represented myself. Maybe I haven't. But there we go. I do believe, just to go on a little bit more, I do believe that at some point someone is going to find a study which will say that certain horses have got an actual brain structure between their amygdala and their corpus callosum or something, which is of the structure of the wild peristaltic horse, and they cannot be ridden. And someone will go, I've got one of them, I've got one of them. And that will become the trend which will stop people getting on their horses. There is a certain type of horse with a brain structure that has not come up through the selective breeding, and every now and then there's a throwback. So there's a horse which will not ever be ridden. Now, I promise you, before you spread that around, I've just made that up. I've made it up. It's not true. But something like that will come along and people will use it as a fact to absolve them of kind of, oh, I've got one of those horses. Let's not hang on to the studies. It's irrelevant of the whys, but the point is there are strategies out there to increase your confidence no matter what it is. And if your confidence is, I'm all right in the arena and I'm not all right out on the hack, therefore don't even consider me doing a little bit of eventing over the jumps that we've got out on the cross country course. Well, if you're all right in the arena, we can build up to being all right on the hack, and there will always be the next little level. So the next level is the cross country course, and that loss of confidence on that level requires the same mental strategies and lesson plans and discipline for yourself for the routing to the horse to get over the step from step 3 to step 4, and step 5 will be waiting. And you use the same confidence strategies, irrelevant of where that lack of confidence comes from, to get to step 5. And then when that's comfortable, use the same strategies to get to step 6, which is exactly your same experience in moving up at work, taking on new responsibilities, daring to buy a house, then daring to buy a house to let, and on and on and on. So the world is literally your oyster. Just because, let's think of something that had frightened me. So I don't do show jumping at all. So if you were to put me on a big bouncy show jumper and say, right, just pop over those, they're not that big, then it would be beyond me today. And I know that I have to go through my set of small bite-sized steps. Perhaps I should have picked something other than horses to, if I was to be a teacher, if I was to teach the naughty kids, the problem, I don't know if it's politically correct to call them problem kids, kids from challenged circumstances. I'm I'm like that already, because obviously my lack of confidence in that would have to start. I don't know what. I can't even imagine what the start of that is. But there's some of you out there who teach troubled kids and kids with problems and that, who are just saying, Carl, what are you talking about? It's just a matter of learning the ropes. And you're dead right, because I know I could do it. Don't challenge me. There we are. Let's get another guest on. Let's have a look. Vicky, you've been very patient. Okay, let's add Vicky into the stream. Hi.
Hi.
What we got?
Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you. Thank you very much.
Hello. Okay, my question is, I have a horse that's 14 years old. Every time I leave the stable arena to go on a hack, he stops. He's a stallion. He stops because there's a mare there, refuses to move. So I've tried getting off and leading him, but I've been told by his previous owner, who's the owner of the stables, basically to whack him. And I just feel so uncomfortable doing that. Any tips from the master?
The master can't be here today, but I am. So have you tried my go-to? First of all, my go-to is turn round and reverse past the sticky point. That's my go-to all the time, which might mean doing a lot of reversing out in other areas before it's a sticky point. So you've got that absolutely under your belt. Be able to reverse park anywhere, reverse round. If you see a nice tree, just stop and reverse round it like you're Dick Whittington about to slyly rob a coach. Reverse everywhere. If you can get them up to a nice scooting reverse that's almost a trot, that'll make all your friends jealous, and you can just park yourself anywhere. You know, when people get out of line or out of where they are, and they've got to do these big old circles, and they're walking around the big old circle to get back into line or next to your horse. You're cool as a cucumber if you can just beep, 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 reverse park into... Yeah. Get reversing down. If you're a little bit nervous at first, do it on long reining. When I get to a sticky point, especially if I'm on a horse that's got any chance of rearing or anything like that, I turn around and point them to home, so they're not going to rear because they want to go that way. And then I go tickle, 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 and they go scoot, 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 and then I turn around like a handbrake turn and go forwards. That's my go-to before I try anything else, and it's hilarious fun because you confuse the horse and you just think, I have totally sussed you out.
Yeah, the other thing I was told was to spin him round in circles, which I've done, but after I do that, then he just stands there going, well, why did you bother doing that?
Yeah,
I'm still here and I'm not going.
Yes. I suppose the theory is that you spin him round in ellipses with the long axis very slightly on the direction that you want to go. So you go around like that, maybe egg shapes. So there's always a sly bit of, or maybe as you go around the top of the circle, you could just put your inside leg on and just push a little bit of lateral. Just, yeah, actually, that I now I've thought of that, which I'd never have before. Usually the circle idea is like when they've stopped and they won't go forward, you have to get them to cross their legs over and go forwards in any direction. And usually that ends up being, you know, you get them to step to the side and now you're facing the side. And so you get that momentum, get them going in a circle and then leg on, leg on, leg on, leg on, and see. And then if they stop again, you're going to have to do it again and leg on, leg on. So that's what I believe people who said spin him in a circle means. It means get him moving. And then when he's pointing even vaguely in the direction that you want to go, is leg on, take advantage of the horse thinking, oh, hello, we're going this way. Maybe we're going home, and then spin the last quarter and like, get on. and then we're off. Does that make sense? Because
yeah, brilliant.
That's the idea.
Not the whipping idea because I hate.
Yeah, yeah. So if somebody has given advice, I'm speaking to the audience now rather than you. If someone's given advice to you to spin them in a circle, that's what they mean. They mean get it moving, get it around, and carry on the direction that you are. If they don't define that, people think you mean spin it in a circle, and then you're just stood there going, "Why did I do that?" Yeah,
that's what I did.
Yeah. So again, that's something that you can practice. Just going, not spin it in a circle, drive it in a larger circle, drive it around, and leg on, and off you go. So you can practice that at every opportunity, so that becomes a pattern. What people also do is they only practice this at the moment that they really need it. So what's the horse going to do? It's not going to fall into a presupposed pattern that's already got. It's like, this is what we do at this point. So there's a couple of things to try all the time until they're two little tools that you've got. and get them working and fit before you take him to a situation where you have to use it.
Okay, brilliant.
Does
Thank
that all
you
make
very much.
sense?
Great. Yeah, brilliant. Thank you.
Super. How easy was it to join the show?
Very easy. I didn't see the first time StreamYard, and then I saw it in the comments about 5,000 times. I've written a few times, but on Facebook questions, and I think that's what everyone's doing.
Yeah.
So it's streamyard.com, isn't it? And then you're there immediately.
Yes. So it looks here from the comments that when I I'll just put it again. Ask a question, go to StreamYard. The comments, it should go into the comments. So I hope it is. If you're on Facebook, let me know that it's going into the comments. Vicky, thank you very much for joining the show. Have a lovely day.
Thank you very much.
Enjoy reversing.
Thank you so much.
It's great.
Yes, I will. Thank you.
It's
Bye-bye.
brilliant. Hey, Kat, you found a picture and you found some audio, I hope.
Yes, I hope so. Can you hear me?
I can do. How are you?
Oh, brilliant. Sorry, I put myself on mute the first time because I had a recycling lorry outside and I didn't want to interrupt your presentation. And then I kind of forgot that you were talking to me and I was on mute. So I was talking and you couldn't see it. Well,
all fixed now.
Yeah, all fixed now. Thank you. So I have a question. I completely agree with you because, I know that when you put your mind to it, you can achieve a lot of things. So, for example, a bit about me. When I was a child, I was really ill. I lost hearing in one of my ears because of the strong medicine that I was put on. I had a really difficult time in school because I missed most of it. And when I was taken to a special assessment center, I was told that I wasn't even going to be able to do GCSEs because my brain wasn't capable of that. So now I'm 42 years old. I've got the bachelor degree in political science and journalism. I work, I was born in Poland. I live in UK I have lived in UK for the past 17 years, and now I'm working for St. John's Ambulance, and I'm actually managing a training department. Where I cover from Shropshire down to Cornwall. So this is what you can do when you put your mind to it. Having heard when you are 10 or 11 years old, I exactly remember those words that you won't be able to do GCSEs because you are not capable enough to go into something like this. I think it's a pretty good achievement. So I agree with you. However, there is a point where I always dreamed about. I used to dream about horses. I grew up in a city. We didn't have money, so all I could do was from time to time I would go and help at the stables. So I would be getting on a horse on my own from time to time. I didn't have any special lessons, anything like that. So I was never taught how to do the proper seat position or anything like that. I had a few really nasty falls that resulted in really bad anxiety. I stopped riding. I had kids. I moved across the Europe and settled here. So that all took the time. Now my girls started riding. They love horses as well. And our adventure with horses started about 5 years ago when we loaned our first horse. Now we have two. So we bought a mare 2 years ago, which is a chestnut Welsh cross thoroughbred. She is now 7. We bought her when she was 5, and I'm absolutely terrified of her, and she knows it. And it got to the point where they can ride her. She's really stubborn. She wasn't very well schooled or anything, so we put a lot of hard work into her for the past 2 years, and now they are at the stage where they can hack her out confidently, no problems. I get on her, she doesn't move, and I know what you say about the mind, about anything else. However, I'm not being able to find my brain because, well, my body is fighting my brain at this stage. So I start to sweat, I start to shake, and no matter how many times I keep telling myself that she's not going to do anything, it's going to be fine, I just can't do it. I'm losing my breath, and I'm so cross with myself because my physical symptoms are just my brain gets switched off, and I just don't listen. I don't know what to do about it. I really can't fight it.
So if we pretend that this was motorbikes, and your daughters rode motorbikes, and they started off on mopeds, and then grew up through the little motorbikes, and now they're on, I don't know, motorbike. Let's say a big one, Harley Davidson, and then they're like, "Mum, get on the Harley, have a go."
Yeah, that's because the other horse is just 14 to pony, like, he's a bit nuts, but I can get on him and I can take him anywhere. So
yes. Yes, that's what's happening. You're taking a massive bite size to go from a nice little pony that you're having a great time on to a completely different type and style of horse. It's completely different, and it's a big bite size, and you haven't had the education that your daughters have had.
Yeah. Yes,
so
that's
plus you've had the experience back in Poland of just buying a big motorbike, getting on it and crashing immediately because nobody gave you any lessons. So you've got 2 motorbike crashes back in Poland. Then you've got here, you've got your little moped that you go around on. You still had no lessons. And then they're saying, get back on the Harley.
Basically, that's it.
So that's the why. Question is, what are you going to do about it?
What can I do about it? Tell me, what shall I do about it?
Do the bits in between to get the education your daughters have. You're on a moped and you're quite cool. This little pony's a moped. So now you need to move up to the slightly bigger ones. You're not getting on that. You've said the horse is difficult and stubborn, and it didn't have a very good start. And you've got a memory of that kind of horse crashing you into a tree or whatever happened in Poland. You just need the in-between steps. You're going from level 1 to level 50. You've got to go to level 2.
It's really easy when you say it. Yeah, I think that's right. Okay.
There are lots and lots of other horses that people would be glad for you to ride. So many different types. People like their horses being exercised, as long as you've got lessons and know what you're doing. So you need to invest some money in some lessons.
Yeah, so I did
find some people with horses who would like you to help exercise them.
Yeah, so for the past 4 years, I have invested money in lessons.
Oh, good.
Apparently, my seat improved a lot, and I can do, thanks to your book and thanks to your, I still remember how you say, when you go to canter, you've got to relax. I keep thinking about that every time I go into canter on my pony, and it's I know that I feel pretty confident because I can ride without stirrups. Even when the horse spokes, I don't fall anymore, and I know that everyone keeps saying that I improved, and they can't see the reason why I can't get onto this bigger horse, because they say there is nothing physically that should be stopping you, because you are a good rider now. It's not like you don't know how to ride, and I know I'm doing all the good things. So I guess I just maybe need to do what you said, just get on her and get back off her, then maybe do a lap around the school, and then what worries me, I think she's a bit of a I think she knows that I'm not confident because I'm the only one who gets bitten.
Well, you've got it in your head that you and this particular horse has got a unfortunate relationship that you don't have with any other horse.
Yes.
So basically, if you change yourself, then you would change that relationship. If you approach the horse differently, if you when you put the bridle on the horse and the horse puts its head to the floor, I expect you find yourself going down to get the bridle onto No, you lift the horse's head up. When the horse steps across, when you're trying to put the girth on, you move the horse back again. My relationship has then changed with the horse from the moment when you put the hay up in the stable and you're tying the hay net up, and the horse comes in and starts eating the hay net, and you're still trying to stop, get back, stay, wait, Now you can have your hay. When you go into, and that will change this unfortunate relationship, which is all in your head. If you change, the horse will change. But
Right.
you're convinced that this horse has got it in for you.
No, I'm convinced that she doesn't respect me because she knows that I have a fear in
Well,
me of her.
Start doing her in the stable. When you pick her feet out, make sure that you go exactly where you want to, and you pick her feet out, and she stands like this. And just be more like. I used to have a teacher called Mr. Clayton who taught geography, and Mr. Clayton was a very strict teacher indeed, and all his class were very obedient and got the best marks. Be like Mr. Clayton.
Right.
Be that teacher that you used to. The old crumbs have come into the room. Your horse needs to be like, oh no, the captain's here. Yes,
Yeah,
we're like.
I
What
had a
you're
teacher
trying to do is be her friend because you want her to like you.
Yes, nailed it.
Yeah. But think back to your teachers when somebody came into your class and they were the French language supply teacher who was just out of college and wanted to make friends with all the kids in the class. How did that class behave? Terribly. Ideally, you'd make them cry and run out the room, and then the whole class would be like, yeah, we made the supply teacher cry. That's what you're doing. Stop trying to be its friend.
Sense. I had that teacher in high school. That's true. We made her cry. Terrible.
There we are. And then they go running out of the classroom crying, and then 10 minutes later the door flies open and the headmaster comes in and goes, right, sit down, and everyone's like,
yeah, that happened. See, it was very unfortunate what we did. We unscrewed her chair, like, the base of her chair, and when she tried to sit down she fell over, and it was, I'm really ashamed of that, but we did that.
Don't try and be their friend. But you can also back this up by riding another 50 horses. So then she falls out of this position of being a particularly special horse, because then you can turn around to this horse and you can say, look, mate, you're just one of 50. Now, stand over there, stop messing around. And in your head, stop giving her this special, it's the special horse that I must build a relationship with. You don't have to build a relationship at all. And the more you realize that, the sooner the relationship that you do want will come. The horse will be happier. You will be happier. And there we go.
Thank you. Can I have one more question?
Yes.
Because it bugged me about that particular horse. She's very unpredictable, and she is not dangerous. I don't think she is dangerous, but she's still very young. And why would she kill a chicken? Have you had an experience of horses killing things?
Yes, only once with pigeons. So the horse would stand there and it would get its food and it would eat the food and it would drop some food on the floor and a pigeon would come down and the horse would go bam. And then it'd get a bit more food and it'd eat his food and drop the food and the pigeon would come down onto the floor and the horse would go bam.
Right.
And it's just, who knows? It's just what they did.
So I shouldn't read anything into that because there was no food. I think she normally doesn't pay attention to other animals, but there was that one time when we came in and my two horses are kept at a private yard. They don't really have a stable, but they have like a big indoor turnout full of shavings and 3 hay nets. And it was in the morning. We came to do the marking out, and there was that poor chicken with his intestines just completely out, and the yard owner said that she must be a bit of a psycho because she must have stepped on it deliberately. Is my horse a psycho?
Well, whether she stepped on it deliberately or not, that's a silly assumption. She might have stepped on it accidentally. I've certainly seen lots of horses get hold of a sack of anything and then wave it up and down. There's a very funny video of a horse with its squeaky chicken. Funny you should say chickens.
I've seen that.
Yeah, and he's like, did you make the connection that the squeaky chicken is just a thing that they don't know a chicken's alive. They just know that this weird thing is in their stable, and they get hold of it and they throw it up and down, and all these tubes come out of it, and they go, "Ooh, where's my hay?" And they walk over it and tread on it, and then a few more tubes come out, and they're like, "Where's my hay?" That's what's going on in there.
Right. No, I didn't make that connection, you see.
Yeah, it's just they don't know the chicken's alive. He doesn't know that the squeaky chicken isn't alive. It makes noises. They don't know that a bag full of other, you put your when you've finished a bag of feed, you screw it up and you put it in another bag of feed, and you screw that up and you put that in another bag of feed, and then the horse gets hold of that bag of old bags, and then and all those bags all over the place. That's not an evil horse. It's just a horse that's found a bag. You've got a horse that found a chicken.
So much better, thank you. Because they made it look like we are those weird people.
The horse must be psycho.
Yeah, and the horse is a psycho. So thank you very much. That made me feel loads better. And I have to tell you, I've been watching you for months and months. Since I had your book about a year ago or a year and a half. And since then, it is my goal to join one of your confidence courses. So when you are back, after lockdown, when I have enough money, you will see me eventually. So I'm
good.
looking forward to that.
And the thing is, it's good fun. We laugh all day. People are like, "Oh, we're going to do all these daring things," but we don't, because it's all in such bite sizes. It's.
No, I look forward to it, really. So
lovely.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much for coming on. How easy was it to come on the show?
It was very easy. If I hadn't put myself on mute, it would have been easier. So, but yeah, thank you. No problem at all.
Lovely. Thank you. Speak to you later.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Oh, you know what? Where's my cursor gone? There it is. My computer is out in the sun, and I'm just using the touch screen to move the cursor. It's getting really hot. Might turn itself off in a minute. Who knows? Okay, we're going to be joined by Jenny next. Okay, so let's just find that. Okay. There you are. Hello, how are you?
Hello.
Oh, look at that. The sound works, the vision works. Oh, nice. That's a nice bit of timber work there.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
I like that. I did a bit of timber framing once. I like that. Anyway, yes, how can I help you? If it's not architecture based.
I came along to your confidence day.
Did we have fun?
A few years ago, and it was good. And I was a bit skeptical. It was really fun, yeah, and it made a massive difference when I got home, because I had a rearer, and it really helped with that.
Super.
But I've had a little issue crop up.
Yep.
I live down a farm track.
Yep.
We have a slightly psychotic farmer that lives at the top.
Yep.
He put in a planning application a year and a half ago. It's just been turned down. He's angry.
Yep.
And he's set off a crow scarer right by the track that I need to ride down.
Yep.
And he's put it in a barrel. So it goes off twice. So it goes ba-boom every 20 minutes. So I need to go down that track in order to hack out.
Yeah.
So I've got my daughter's cob, who's fairly sensible. I've got quite a skittish, reary pony. Yeah. And I've got a young Arab who's sort of sensible, but is a 6-year-old Arab. Do you think I should just graze them up there so they get used to it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And just have them on a long line, so if they bolt, I've still got them a bit.
And you can always, long rein them past a few times just to see how they're going to be, when they jump, where do they jump, this and that. We went to Morocco, and it was brilliant. If you want, when we get allowed to travel again, my little holiday in Morocco last February or February before was absolutely brilliant, because they go from Luton Airport, which is about 9 miles from me. There's one plane in, one plane out to Essaouira, which is on the coast, and it's on the same timeline as Britain. So when you get back at 8 o'clock in the evening, it's 8 o'clock in the evening, and you just go to sleep, wake up the next day, and you go to work. And it was absolutely super. And they've got a show there, a big horsey show, all to do with the medieval times of it's got cannon and guns and 300 horses, and they're all Arabs, and they're all running around with their tails in the air with these big old blunderbusses going off. Ugh. So don't let anybody tell you, especially your own imagination, that there is anything exceptional about training a horse to bangs. I mean, you've seen these bands with the big brass drums on, and he's bomb, 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 and steering it with his toes. And there's so many things. We do a sport called Zhigotovka, where we're shooting pistols, which admittedly aren't as loud, but we've had fireworks off the back of the horses. They're much worse than a bang because it's continuous. That was possible. Just absolute right. Get some drums, get some pistols, get some little bangy things, and just constantly enjoy yourselves. Go around, make as much banging as possible, and this crow scarer is just part of that. Play, if you want to add to it, you can play bangs on stereos. You can play the William Tell Overture and do a little thing to music on it. There's the possibilities are endless. There is absolutely no reason at all, and your farmer friend clearly is not expecting. He's bought into the rumor that horses are going to be upset about bangs.
He's got his own 2 horses, but they just stay in the field.
Yeah.
But there's loads of cow parsley, and so I could just graze them up there.
Yeah.
But he is the type, he would sit there and let it off as we were potentially riding past. So yeah.
But if you've done enough bang workshops, and for that matter, if you're walking past and you've got, I mean, you get quite loud little speakers now, so you could have the William Tell Overture or 101 film sound effects, and you could be playing that really loud to your horse as you come down the track. And then if they let the thing that goes bang off right next to it, well, it's just had a load of bangs and you singing along and there's no reason to assume that I mean, this show was all exploded, and I've done plenty of beach scenes, you know, thing on the beach, and all the sand bombs are going off. So they go bang, plus all the sand goes up. You've seen it in all the films. The horses just running past because they're used to it. I mean, that dog's got quite a big. That dog's got quite a big butt. You could understand. You could understand that a horse had jumped from that, but obviously your horse doesn't jump from that because they're used to the bloody dog. There's no reason to assume that. You do, however, need to start keeping a diary of everything this farmer does, and you need to keep it now. Video as much as you can, because it is only going to escalate. If the crow scarer doesn't work, it'll be sitting there thinking of something else and something else. So it's going to escalate. You might as well get prepared for it. Keep a diary straight away.
No, the next thing is he drives up and down with his tractor with the prongs out. That was the next thing. But video. We'll be good at tractors and loud bangs.
Video that. Make a note of the time, because fairly soon he'll be doing it 6, 7, 8 times a day. Then he'll be doing it at night. Then and if you just start the diary now while it's just beginning, because there's no way that he's going to not escalate it until there's a point where somebody comes and says you have to stop.
Yes. Yeah.
So we might as well start diarising it now and don't do anything in retaliation.
I know, that's the hard bit.
Oh, it's really hard, isn't it? I'll go and steal his flipping crow scarer. But there we go. There you are. So sorry that bad times have come to you in neighbours terms, but it happens to us all.
Oh, it happens to loads of people.
Yeah. It happens to everybody at some point or other, and it's just your turn.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good. Thank you.
Okay, lovely. Nice to talk to you. See you later.
And you. Bye.
Denise, you're straight on. How are you? Let's keep this going.
Fine, and yourself?
All right, thank you very much. How can I help? Or how can you help me? One or the other is going to happen.
I need help. When I go on an outride, I'm happy to walk and trot, but the cantering piece, I get so nervous. But inside, when I ride inside, I can canter, I can gallop, I can do whatever. It's just on the outride.
Okay. So there's something in your head that's what are you scared that the horse will run off over the horizon and not stop? Are you scared that it?
I think that's what I'm scared of. Yeah, that's what I'm scared of.
Okay, so presumably there's a place where you know, we find a nice place for a canter and we start at the bottom and we stop at the top. Is that normal? Is that what you do?
Yes, there is a place, but I don't canter him on the outride. I just like very fast trot.
Yeah. So what would happen if you went round the track? So we'll break this expectation that the horse thinks, okay, we're at the canter point, because then they start breathing a bit quicker and they start to grow and then your nerves start going. So what would happen if you went round the other way, came down from the top and just 30 meters, turned round and just cantered to the end where you've just been from? Could you do that?
I could try that, yeah.
Because you know he's going to stop there anyway, because he does every time. He knows that's the end of the canter point, doesn't he?
You see on the track that we canter wherever, so there's not a specific point that you canter from A to B, because I've never believed in that.
Yes,
so
correct.
It's just I can't put my horse into that canter and canter. I ride with my daughter, so I can't get him in that canter, and she canters and I'm doing a trot. It's just
but there's a place in the ride somewhere where you have to come back to a trot, and the horse knows that, because you do it every time. That you don't canter around a sharp bend, or you don't canter as you go from the fields into the woods, because you'd crash into a branch or something. Yeah. So and the horse is reasonably sensible enough to know that. So if you came out of the woods or the place where no one's ever cantered, went down 30 meters, turned around and just cantered to that place,
okay,
then you wouldn't feel that you're going to get run away with.
Okay, and start building on that.
And then it's 40 meters, and then it's 50 meters. And on, taking as long as you need to. So if, for example, it's like, okay, so I'm doing quite well here. I'm okay with 20 meters, and I was okay with 10 meters. So possibly, if I really applied myself, I could do this. I could get myself sorted within 4.5 months. If you genuinely thought, if I worked at this, I could do it in 4.5 months, and then you take that goal and you're like, I will do this, but I want to take the pressure off, so I haven't got an inner voice going, you've got to do it, now's the time, be brave. And I'm going to take that 4.5 months, and I'm going to say 3 years. Well, hey, now the pressure's completely, I've got 3 years, 3 seasons to just keep doing this 15 meters gradually.
Okay.
Definitely do that. And once all that pressure's off, you'll probably find that you don't need 3 years, but it will be a choice rather than a demon coming after you going, you're a loser, every time that you haven't managed to, every time you go backwards, where you were all right at 30 meters, but then you had the thing to go to and the holiday to have and the thing at work, and now you've missed a few weeks and your confidence has dropped again, and you're going to go back to 10 meters. Well, if you've got this constant voice saying, you said you'd do it in 4.5 months, then that's not going to help. So just stretch that time right out. Still have the time so that you're absolutely committed to progressing, but progressing even allowing for the fact that life gets in the way, and you find yourself going forwards and backwards and forwards and backwards. That's one solution.
Okay, I'll certainly give that a go.
Another solution might be if you've got a field with a sort of vista that produces a bit of fear in you because you're out, you know, almost agoraphobic. It's like, oh, the horse might disappear over there. You can always take some rope and some electric fence posts and just patch out a 40 by 20 and then do your arena exercises in that 40 by 20 that you do all the time that you're fine of, but in your peripheral vision you're aware of this vista around you. You know the horse isn't going to run off because you're in an arena. Your confidence will be, I'm just doing the thing in the arena, and you've only got a certain amount of time before you have to think about getting the corner and getting your leg on and doing that lovely serpentine and making sure that's perfect. Once you can do all that, you could then maybe make the arena bigger. So now it's a 60 by 20, and then it's an 80 by 100. And then before you know it, it's so big that you're out there doing it. The canters, the turns, the stops. The horse has got trained that it still listens to you, even though it's outside. And there's another solution. So there's two.
Thank you.
It's the same principle. Use your imagination and your intelligence, and the thing is, go to the effort of doing it. If you're going to make an arena, get the fence posts in your arm and walk. The thing is, people don't go to the effort of doing it.
Thank you very much for your info.
Pleasure. I hope it works for you. Let me know how it gets on, and take the pressure off you completely.
I will do that. Thank
Lovely.
you, Carl.
Thanks very much.
Okay.
Speak to you later.
Bye. Bye.
Catch you later, Bill and Ted. There we are. That was an absolutely fabulous show. I suppose I ought to go and do some work. Thank you very much for everybody for joining the show. That's marvelous. If you'd like to join tomorrow is Saturday, isn't it? I'm definitely not doing one Sunday. I'll have to see how Saturday goes. There we are. Everybody who's joined the conversation, thank you so much. There's a lot of advice going forwards and backwards. I really hope we see more of Annabella, maybe doing her own show, because she's fantastic. She's got such a good attitude. I really like that. Marvelous. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you for joining the show. See you later.